Hi, this is Dr. Victria Nalule. I'm the CEO of Nalule Energy and Minerals Management Initiative. In this video, we want to explore the impacts of climate change on farming, especially in rural Africa, where most of the people, over 80% of the people, are relying on hand tools for farming. In the heart of rural Africa, farming is life. For over 60% of sub-Saharan Africans, it's how they feed their families and earn a living. But today, something is changing. The rains are no longer reliable, the sun burns hotter than before, and crops that once thrived now struggle to survive. Climate change is hitting rural African farmers the hardest, and many of them have no tractors, no irrigation, no modern tools, just hoes, seeds, and hope. The use of hand tools is rampant in many developing countries, especially in farms, also in various other sectors. So when we're talking about energy access or even energy poverty, we have to ask ourselves, what can we do to ensure that we access advanced technology so that our people are not reliant on hand tools? Because the most important thing to even ask yourself, how many developed countries are still using hand tools such as hoes in their farms? How many, or when was the last time they used hand tools? But in developing countries, over 80% of the people in rural communities or in rural areas are still using hand tools. This is technology or even a craft of the 19th century or even 18th century. But we're in the 21st century, and this is our reality in Africa. Most depend on rain-fed agriculture, making them extremely vulnerable to drought. In some areas, yields have dropped by up to 50% due to erratic weather. Longer dry seasons, failed rains, and floods are wiping out harvests. That means empty markets and empty stomachs. Agriculture in Africa is not just a victim of climate change, it's also part of the cause. Clearing land for farming, often through burning, releases carbon. Livestock like cattle, goats produce methane, and overuse of chemical fertilizers adds nitrous oxide to the air. Together, farming contributes to 14 to 20% of Africa's greenhouse gas emissions. But farmers are not standing still. They're adapting with whatever little they have. We need investments in order to ensure training and education of the farmers, access to better seeds and tools, access to financial safety nets for when crops fail. But most importantly, we need to modernize the equipment and mechanisms that we use in farming. And above all, we need recognition, because the African farmer with their hands in the soil is on the front line of the climate crisis. Africa has the youngest population and some of the most fertile land on earth. With the right tools, knowledge, support, and technological advancement, farmers here can feed the continent and beyond sustainably. But the clock is ticking. If climate change continues unchecked, Africa could lose up to 30% of its main food crops by 2050. This is more than just a farming issue. It's a food issue, it's a poverty issue, and it's also a future issue. And the solution starts in the fields. Support rural farmers, fight climate change, grow a better future, but most importantly, let's modernize the various mechanisms used by the rural farmers. We need advanced technology for the farmers to be able to survive. Thank you.